all know the story of Alice in Wonderland. A curious little girl wanders off following a white rabbit. He leads her into a hole under a tree. She falls and falls into her wonderland, a land of nonsense. In the end, the story is all about navigating childhood, growing into adolescence, and finally adulthood. Alice is engaged in a quest for her own identity, for some understanding of logic, rules, authority, time, and death, as quoted by the editors of the movie. My favorite part of the movie is the scene with the caterpillar. A long blue caterpillar with 12 hands lays on a mushroom. Alice comes along. He turns quite confused and asks, "Who are you?" She replies with, "I hardly know, sir." "Explain yourself," says the caterpillar. "I'm afraid I can't explain myself, sir, because I'm not myself, you know," says Alice. "I do not know," says the caterpillar. "Well, I can't put it any more clearly as it isn't clear to me." Here is where my project began. I didn't create a machine, solve a problem, or revolutionize waste management. I found myself caught in a loop, trying to create the most fantastic, life-changing Greenstone. I kept dismissing the many ideas I had. I was digging for something relevant to say. Everyone kept asking me, "Do you have your why for Greenstone? Tell me your why." Every time I heard that question, I shut down. I had no idea. I started a quest for my own identity, and I asked myself, who am I? Just like the caterpillar asked Alice. This is a big question, huge actually, a question that humanity has been asking itself for centuries. How could I, Carolina, an 18-year-old, have an answer for such a question? So I started by wondering, what defines someone? I mean, what makes you who you are? And I don't mean a simple answer. I'm Stacy Brown, married, 48, and a lawyer. No. I've come to think what defines you isn't your name or what you do for a living, but what you make of the experiences you have had, the way you interpret the sum of your life events. Okay, so let's start there. I was born in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where color is life. As a little girl, my arm was always full of pulseiras da sorte, bracelets of luck, a rainbow across my arm. Brazilian culture is known for its love for life, and this can be felt everywhere. My destiny then took me to Johannesburg, South Africa, where I was immersed in wildlife, a diversity of patterns, and different tribes, each with their own sense of identity. My last stop before Bali was in the Middle East, Dubai. The scorching summer heat, the daily calls to prayer, and distracting fast cars disguised as shallow reality. The conversations at school lunch were never about politics, inventions, or the environment. They were about the new collection from Louis Vuitton, or whose dad just got a Bentley. And it was hard for my 14-year-old self not to be seduced by this shallow reality. This is when I started to realize something was wrong. Something was wrong with me. I didn't fit in. I was constantly trying to be part of this reality which slowly, as they say in the Middle East, shway shway yani, started numbing who I was. Something needed to change. I was in Brazil on holiday with my dad, and I saw my own white rabbit. My white rabbit symbolized curiosity, which encouraged a huge act of courage to follow. My white rabbit suggested I move to Bali. A solution popped in my mind. I called my mom and asked, "Is that school in the middle of the jungle still an option?" It took great courage to move to Bali, leaving everything we knew behind. I will never forget a meeting I had with the head of my old school. After informing her that my mom, the white rabbit, and I were moving to Bali, the woman went pale. She turned to us and said, "This is the biggest mistake of your life. You will ruin Carolina's education." I think I'm fine. Now what this woman told me could have defined who I was forever. What if I would have believed her? She actually taught me one of the biggest lessons of my life so far. Sometimes doing what is perceived as crazy, breaking the norms, and really following your heart will bring you opportunities you never imagined you could have. And sometimes people will get in the way of what you want. They will say challenging things to keep you where they think you are safe, following the norms, and really speaking from a place of fear. I was so relieved to catch myself in a new reality. Bali became my redemption. When I first got here, it was like letting a dog who has been stuck in a cage all its life out. That desperation to run and play. Here, I could simply live with no filters. I discovered a large part of who I am in Bali, which I'll be forever grateful. Now, I was officially leaving childhood and venturing into adolescence. On my 14th birthday, I was given a beautiful leather book filled with white, crisp, untouched pages, a hard cover with intricate designs, and a small box of oil pastels. I never considered myself a creative person, but one day, very literally, out of the blue, I started creating. My colorful worlds, scribbles, shapes, and designs. Little did I know my art began. After being taught about artists like Keith Haring, Basquiat, Jackson Pollock, Andy Warhol, and Maurizio Catalan, my eyes witnessed these legends in the art world. Applying their own technique, rhythm, and spark, it inspired me in a way I can't describe. Being taught of the different movements like Impressionism, Surrealism, Cubism, and conceptual art gave me insights into different ways art can be structured. Art is my freedom, a world where anything and everything is possible. Words become colors, themes and ideas become shapes. What fascinates me is how each person develops their own style. We all have different perceptions on life. Art is a way for these perceptions we store in our minds to be seen visually. The combination of all this new knowledge and being free from society's molding allowed me to discover my gift. My gift was art. More than ever, having the courage to venture out of the traditional path rewarded me with experiences that are priceless. No exam or hour-long lecture can teach you about the beauty of human connection. 2 years ago, the school offered a service trip to Raja Ampat, a place I had never been before, but the idea of it caught my attention. So I applied, got in, and we all went. We worked with the children of the community, teaching them English, sport, and so much more. This was the first time I was mature enough to realize how ordinary, simple life was truly amazing. It was a shock, a really big one, to see these two different worlds, communication without language. I might sound as if I was super certain of all the decisions I have made in the past, which is not true. I tend to go back and forth hundreds of times before I make a decision, seeing the pros and cons bounce off each other until I decide. I've gotten in trouble for this. But I've come to realize that courage is not the absence of fear. I see courage as a skill, supported by curiosity, the ability to question even the obvious. Asking a question is an act of courage in itself. So, to this question, who are you? I hope you never find an answer. When you hear, that's a crazy idea, take it as an invitation to jump down your own rabbit hole. Life is all about having a beautiful portfolio of experiences. The movie ends with Alice waking up and her realizing that her experience in Wonderland was a curious dream. My wish for all of us is not to sleep through life. Go through each phase of your life finding your own white rabbit. Thank you. Oh.